Have you ever wondered why Victorians look so serious? There's a very good reason for that not amused look: exposure time. Sitting absolutely still for 90 seconds is not as easy as it sounds. Photography takes time and light. Its history is really the story of how these two elements interact on the photographic plate and inside the camera. And it is also the story of the attempt to make the most of both. Photography is quite a young art. It was born in 1826, when one of Nicéphore Niepce's experiments finally worked, and he was able to produce a very fuzzy picture of his backyard using a pewter plate coated with asphalt. Although it did not look very good and took 8 hours of exposure time to make, it was the world's first permanent photographic image. However, with an exposure time of 8 hours, the technique was not really practical and totally unfeasible for portraiture. Niepce's colleague Louis-Jacques Daguerre continued experimenting until he found a faster method. In 1839, the daguerreotype made on a silver-plated sheet of copper was announced in Paris. It might have been called a Niepceotype, had Niepce not died a few years earlier. The daguerreotype was the first commercially viable photographic process. It was instantly popular, even though it was quite expensive. The rest of the story could be described as a constant race to shorten exposure time and make photography easier. In 1866, a visit to a photographic studio to have one's likeness taken meant sitting as unmoving as possible for 10 to 90 seconds, depending on the light. A special device called a posing stand helped prevent movement during the shoot. The command to watch the birdie prevented any eye movement that would have produced a blur. If the eyes moved, they appeared blanked out in the finished portrait. Photography became much easier in 1888, when the snapshot camera let people take their own pictures. We've come a long way since that time. Film is now being replaced by memory cards and digital cameras. And photography has become such a part of modern life that most people have a hard time imagining a world without it. There would be no movies, TV, or internet, for all of these have their roots in photography. Niepce and Daguerre probably never knew what they started.